it's obviously the final film. Look, the movie was long.
Yeah.
I would say that. However, overall, I was pretty impressed. I feel like you differ on that opinion. I don't know.
I've never been the biggest fan of Mission Impossible. I do like the earlier movies, and I think Rogue One is the best in the franchise.
Do you think so?
But
I was actually gonna ask you that
mm,
because I don't know. I feel like I differ.
what
For
would you
me,
say
I
to
would
this?
say mine is what's it called? I think it's called Ghost Protocol.
Okay.
But yeah, that's like the fourth one.
Yeah. Now that is one of the better ones. I would say that's second.
Nah.
But for me, Rogue One just felt different, felt fresh. It felt yeah, overall just a movie I felt I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Whereas with majority of Mission Impossible films, and especially this one, yeah, I felt like I was just watching more or less the same as
I
the
think
other
like
films.
Fallout.
Yeah.
Obviously the one before this, Dead Reckoning,
Mm.
and then this one. I think it all felt like the same
Yeah.
part of the same movie.
Yeah. Like it's sort of one storyline just carrying on, and I think they dragged it a bit too long in my opinion.
I think so as well. I mean, 8 movies. That's a lot. I was quite glad. I was quite happy with the film. What did you think of everyone's performances?
I mean, I think with Mission Impossible especially, it's not really a film where you go in expecting these Oscar-worthy performances.
Yeah.
You're going in there for, and don't get me wrong, acting is still one of the hardest stuff you can do, and Tom Cruise proves that all the time with his insane stunts.
In every
like,
movie.
Yeah, in this.
man, that's Cape Town. Come back. Sprinted in 21.
Yeah, someone needs to tell him that cars were invented a while ago.
Really.
No, but with Mission Impossible, you're not really expecting like Oscar-worthy performances.
No, true.
But I think Tom Cruise, he always delivers.
Yeah.
He goes above and beyond, and especially with this film, he was hanging off a plane, multiple planes actually.
Every scene is was hanging off something. But would you say and sort of categorize Tom Cruise in that field of being those actors that always plays the same role? You know what I mean? Like, for instance, people say Keanu Reeves always plays the same role. Dwayne Johnson plays the same role. Would you say he's one of those? Or
Like, first of all, to put Dwayne Johnson in the same
you say this, how dare you?
in the same sentence as Tom Cruise is that's crazy. But Tom Cruise, the thing is, the reason why he plays these same sort of roles is because that's what he genuinely enjoys doing. It's different with The Rock. You can't do anything.
Well, this man knows he's being strong.
Yeah. But Tom Cruise, I mean, he's proved in his earlier films like Collateral and that he can actually.
What's the other one where he plays like this fat guy? You know what I'm speaking about?
I watched Thunder.
It's Tropic Thunder. Where he has like this big
film.
Yeah.
I mean, and he has genuine range. Like he can play all these different roles. So I think
I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah.
I just posed that question because I've seen people actually bring that about.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Tom Cruise can only.
Yeah, it's something people have been talking about for a while, but honestly, I don't agree. I think Tom Cruise has the range to play all these different characters. And
what do you think about the stunts from this film?
I wouldn't say it's the best stunts in the franchise, but I mean, in this film, Tom Cruise jumps from one plane to another mid-air.
So this guy did it in real life.
Yeah. You know, we went like 20,000 feet underwater. All of that, and he keeps like breaking world records in every movie. Like,
you know what's crazy is how involved and how passionate he is about all these movies. For instance, you know he has like a whole bunch of different licenses. Like he has plane license. Yeah, you know he even has property license. It's crazy, bro. But it's actually it's an actual thing. I don't even know why I know that, but but my point is, he puts so much effort into these roles that it's just like you can feel it.
Yeah, you
can feel the magnitude of that.
And you can feel that all the other actors look up to him so much.
Yeah.
especially in a film like this, there's so many young actors,
Definitely.
and I think just getting the opportunity to work with Tom Cruise, that's
Yeah.
like a lifetime goal.
I must say, I think Tom Cruise is one of the last actors that really cares about the whole film industry.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether you want to say it's like from a blockbuster perspective,
Yeah,
a genuine, pure cinema.
yeah,
Look, COVID for instance. I think
Yeah.
he was when we were deep in lockdown, he was one of the only ones shooting,
definitely. Yeah,
and he was adamant on that, and he was
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean, because he didn't want the whole film industry to die. So
yeah,
you have to respect him for that.
definitely. And he prioritizes the theatrical experience, and
Definitely.
we've spoken about how important that is. I mean, we're in a theater right now, and yeah, I think Tom Cruise is just always the best thing about Tom Cruise is he's not only looking out for his own films, he's looking out for films in general.
Yeah.
Like he wants the cinema industry to thrive, and yeah, it's commendable.
Yeah.
As for the film itself, what did you think about the overall plot?
In terms of plot, look, like we mentioned earlier on, when you're watching a Mission Impossible, when you're going into a Mission
Yeah.
Impossible movie, you're not really expecting to see a different storyline.
Yeah.
We all know this guy's taking some mask off at some point. He's gonna run somewhere. All of this and that. Look, it's quite interesting. Like I said, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm sort of in the software space.
Yeah.
But anything that has to do with AI,
Yeah.
people hacking into a certain system, using certain software framework, I'm into that.
Yeah.
Have some little action spy vibe. I'm into that, so I really like that from this film. Obviously, if you guys watched the previous one, you'd know that this is just a part 2, it's a carry on, and they basically have to get the ski, which sort of, if you want to say, decipher or basically prevents the bomb from detonating.
So the entity is like sort of the villain, which is this AI body, and Tom Cruise's character Ethan Hunt is kind of trying to get this poison drive to sort of prevent the end of the world, kind of. And I think that's another thing about Mission Impossible, or where it is now. It went more from like these low-key underground missions, more of
to like
saving the world.
Yeah, everyone
nuclear
knowing
bombs, which is not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, it is still, it's Mission Impossible. You're expecting impossible.
So I have to say, be ready to see some impossible missions being achieved and accomplished in this movie. Some impossible missions. I don't want to spoil anything.
I mean, some of them are kind of easy. I feel like I could.
You think what's the underwater
the diving one? Just go take a swim.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Do it in my sleep.
Just took a swim. No, but these missions are genuinely insane. As for plot, like you said that you enjoyed the AI part, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna forget that plot in 2 weeks.
Nah.
I'm gonna forget it.
Look, same.
Yeah.
But still, while I was watching the movie,
Yeah.
I just had to appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely kept me engaged.
Yeah.
But I think one of my least favorite things about Mission Impossible in general is I don't feel much emotion watching those movies. Like there's excitement in certain parts, like
but I feel like that's sort of just that is also your character and your personality. I feel like you're more into movies that's sort of more conceptual.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I prefer those sort of dramatic movies that sort of pinch a nerve, or like stuff like that.
I think at the same time, that's also where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I feel like definitely who I would recommend these movies to. Well, this one is to those dads, from those old school dads.
Yeah.
We all know, all our parents.
Yeah.
Heavy into action. They just want to see action.
Yeah.
This is a movie that's definitely for them.
Yeah, I think people grew up on Die Hard.
Yeah.
Would love this movie.
But even if people who grew up with Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Look, I feel like also Tom Cruise is one of those actors where if you like Tom Cruise, you like all his movies.
Yeah.
Getting to that also before we end, what's your What's your favorite Tom Cruise movie?
That's a tough question. Tom Cruise
From
has
all
had
his movies.
Tom
Okay,
Cruise
from
has
all his movies.
a lot of good
Ranking.
movies.
Okay, at least give me your top 5.
Top 5. I would say one of my favorites is the recent Top Gun Maverick. That movie,
Bruh, Top Gun.
insane
Maverick.
movie.
Were we in the cinema?
We watched that together. Yeah.
How crazy was it?
Yeah, that was
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
When did that come out? 2021, I think.
21 or 22.
That
But
was
amazing film.
easily the best film of that year.
Yeah, I agree.
Easily. That cinema experience.
Yeah. So my top 5 Tom Cruise movies. I mean, look, I don't just want to name Mission Impossible, Rogue One, and then a bunch of Mission Impossibles. I think Tropic Thunder.
Sounds
is
like
one of
Rogue
his-
One is the only Mission Impossible, you know. Rogue One. Rogue 2.
Yeah,
No, I'm joking. Carry on.
I would say in no particular order. I would say Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller. I think that's one of the funniest
Yeah.
comedies of all time.
That movie will never
Yeah.
exist in today's age.
I mean, I can see them doing that today.
You think so?
I
I don't think so.
I
But
feel
anyway,
like- Yeah. That's a topic for another
Yeah.
day. Yeah, Tropic Thunder. I mean, Edge of Tomorrow with
Yeah.
Emily Blunt. That's an insane movie. I think that's one of the best sci-fis also.
yeah.
And then we have. Okay, I have to name one Mission Impossible.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah, I have
That's
to say,
Tom Cruise.
yeah, I think Mission Impossible 3. even though I like Rogue One more, I'm gonna say 3 just for that nostalgia. Like I feel like to me, growing up, I sort of watched 1, 2, and 3 at the same time, and 3 really like stuck
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
And then I would say Collateral. That's another like insanely good movie. And number 5, I have to say Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Even though the first Top Gun was, like
Iconic.
iconic,
Classic.
but I think Maverick was just a bit more.
I'm
exciting
surprised
for
you
me.
actually left out. Okay, these are one of my personals.
Yeah.
Jack Reacher,
Mm,
and then The Last Samurai.
The Last Samurai.
Come on now.
How could I forget about
Come
that?
on now.
That's actually, as a child, I would
Yeah.
watch that movie over and over again.
Yeah,
Even The Mummy. The Mummy
also,
was
I actually
amazing.
forgot about the Mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Um,
overall, look, let's just rate this. Let's rate this movie and your experience here.
The experience, I mean, stuck in a core, 10 out of 10. There's no better cinema in South Africa, but I would say the film itself, although it is fun, exciting, entertaining, it's not a movie I would ever watch again because I feel like, yeah, it served its purpose and now it's done.
Yeah. Definitely.
I would give this movie a solid 6 out of 10.
Solid 6.
Yeah.
I get all of your points. Like I said, look, obviously being a Stark and Nico, they just made it such a nice experience. But
Hospitality.
yeah, so I think that contributed to the fact of, I mean, they were serving out popcorn throughout the movie. Just I don't know why they did that, but anyway, that's just
One
them.
guy brought tea.
It was random, but anyway, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, from a movie perspective, I enjoyed it. Action packed.
Yeah.
Super entertaining. Yeah, I was on my toes the
Yeah,
entire
I think
film.
definitely that experience of watching it,
Yeah.
especially for the first time. Like,
You know what I also want to say?
Yeah.
Mission Impossible is actually one of the movies that actually brings out that IMAX experience,
Yeah,
which is why it's so
definitely.
important to go watch it
And
in
there's a
IMAX.
scene in the underwater scene. Remember, I
Yeah.
pointed out to you, Tom Cruise sort of.
Bro,
So
I'm not
really the type of person to like get excited when
Yeah.
the ratio changes. But in this scene, Tom Cruise sort of opening this thing.
Yeah.
And he opens it a bit, and the ratio goes
Yeah.
up a bit. Then he opens it more and goes up fully, and
that
it's
was,
like
that was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
all
that
these
was-
minor, small
yeah.
details. It really felt like you went all in for this
Yeah.
last film. With that being said, I'm gonna give this a 7.5.
yeah,
Lock it in,
okay,
no doubt about it. Can't wait to see you guys.
yeah, solid ratings, I think.